You can be in a room full of people or have hundreds of friends online and still feel completely, utterly alone. The sound of laughter is all around you, but none of it feels like it's for you. Your phone buzzes with notifications, but none of them feel like a real connection. If you've ever felt that ache of disconnection, you're not just in your head. It has become a silent epidemic. One recent Cigna survey found that 57% of Americans are lonely. While other estimates vary, the writing is on the wall. A lot of us are hurting. But here's the statistic that inspired this video, the one that reveals the true crisis hiding beneath the surface. A recent Harvard study found that a shocking 81% of adults who feel lonely also report battling anxiety or depression. That's not a coincidence. It's a vicious cycle. In this video, we're going to expose the seemingly harmless daily habits pushing millions of us deeper into that cycle. We'll unpack how the very structure of our modern lives, from our social media feeds to our work culture, is engineered to fuel this disconnection. And most importantly, we'll explore what we can do to break free. First things first, what is loneliness really? It's not the same as being alone. Solitude can be a beautiful, restorative thing. It's a choice. Loneliness isn't. The US Surgeon General defines it as the distress you feel when the social connections you want are not the ones you have. It's a purely subjective feeling of being on the outside looking in, which is why you can feel it in a marriage, at a packed party, or in a busy office. The real danger here is that loneliness isn't just a feeling. It's a condition that rewires your brain and body. When you're lonely for a long time, your brain flips into a high alert state. It starts seeing social threats everywhere, kind of like our ancestors scanning the horizon for predators. This triggers a flood of stress hormones like cortisol, which can lead to serious health problems. To put it in stark terms, the US Surgeon General, Dr. Vivek Murthy, has said that the mortality impact of being socially disconnected is similar to smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. It's linked to a greater risk of heart disease, dementia, stroke, and as we mentioned, depression and anxiety. This is where the vicious cycle kicks in. Loneliness makes you more prone to depression and anxiety. But when you're depressed, you often don't have the energy to see people. And when you're anxious, social events can feel terrifying. So you pull back. That withdrawal makes you even more isolated, which cranks up the loneliness, which then fuels the depression and anxiety even more. It's a self-perpetuating loop that feels impossible to escape, a cruel two-way street where each condition feeds the other. Millions of people are trapped in this cycle right now, wondering how they got here. The first step to getting out is understanding the forces that pushed us in. So why has this feeling become so common? It's not a personal failing. It's the result of massive shifts in our society. There are three big forces at play: the tech we use, the way we work, and the communities we live in. Here's the great paradox of our time. We've never been more connected, yet we've never felt more alone. When a Harvard poll asked Americans what they believed contributes to loneliness, the number one answer from 73% of people was technology. Social media platforms are supposed to bring us together, but they often do the exact opposite. Research consistently shows that heavy social media use is linked to feeling more socially isolated. Why? Because a digital interaction is a weak substitute for the real thing. Face-to-face connection is a rich, multi-sensory experience. You see expressions, hear vocal tone, and feel the energy in the room. That stuff activates the parts of our brain responsible for empathy and a genuine bond. A text or a like just can't compete. Our digital lives also create a culture of toxic comparison. We scroll through perfectly curated highlight reels, the exotic trips, the happy couples, the career wins, and stack them up against the messy, unedited reality of our own lives. This can breed a nasty cocktail of envy, inadequacy, and the feeling that we're falling behind. It also encourages what researchers call passive social media use, where we're just scrolling and consuming content without really interacting. This type of use is the most strongly linked to a drop in well-being and a rise in loneliness. We get this hollow sense of being involved without any of the substance, leaving us feeling more empty than when we started. We're swapping the quality of deep connections for the quantity of shallow ones, and our brains can tell the difference. For most of us, work is where we spend the majority of our waking hours. Historically, it was also a main source of community. That has fundamentally changed. When polled, 62% of people cited being too overworked or exhausted from their jobs as a major reason for their loneliness. We're working longer, and by the time we clock out, we often don't have the mental energy left for the very things that could help us feel connected. The rise of remote and hybrid work, for all its flexibility, has added another layer of isolation. According to a 2024 Gallup report, 1 in 5 employees globally reports feeling lonely every single day. That feeling is significantly higher for fully remote workers, with 25% reporting loneliness compared to just 16% of those who work exclusively on-site. Those spontaneous water cooler chats, shared lunches, and casual catch-ups that build real camaraderie have been replaced by scheduled Zoom calls that often feel transactional, not relational. This isn't just a social problem, it's an economic one. Workplace loneliness is estimated to cost U.S. employers hundreds of billions of dollars a year in lost productivity, higher turnover, and increased healthcare costs. The issue is especially acute for the youngest members of the workforce. A 2025 survey found that a staggering 38% of Gen Z employees report feeling lonely at work. Many of them started their careers during or after the pandemic, missing out on the in-person mentorship and friendships that create a sense of belonging. They're navigating their professional lives from behind a screen, making it harder to build the foundational support networks that are vital for both career success and well-being. Beyond our screens and our desks, there's a bigger societal shift happening. The very structure of our communities is changing in a way that encourages isolation. When polled, 66% of Americans pointed to families spending less time together as a cause of loneliness. But it's bigger than that. We've seen the slow erosion of what sociologists call third places. These are the spots outside of home, the first place, and work, the second place, where we connect with our community. Think coffee shops, libraries, parks, community centers, and places of worship. They're where spontaneous interactions happen and weak ties are formed. The friendly nod with your barista, a quick chat with another parent at the playground. These weak ties are incredibly important for creating a sense of belonging. As these places decline, or as we spend less time in them, we lose a critical layer of our social support system. On top of that, we're an increasingly transient society. People move more than ever for school, jobs, or retirement, leaving their social circles behind. Each move forces you to rebuild a community from scratch, a task that only gets harder as you get older. This leads to a deeper, more troubling kind of isolation, existential loneliness. It's the feeling that your life is missing meaning and purpose. That same Harvard study found that about 75% of adults who feel lonely also report that they lack a sense of purpose. They feel fundamentally disconnected, as if their place in the world isn't important. One survey even found that 40% of lonely people felt disconnected from the country itself. This isn't just about needing more friends. It's about the fundamental human need to feel like you are part of something bigger than yourself. If any of this is hitting home for you, if you've felt that ache of disconnection, I want you to know 2 things. First, you are not broken, and you are not alone in feeling this way. What you're experiencing is a perfectly normal response to an increasingly abnormal social environment. Second, I want to invite you to share something in the comments. What's one small habit you've noticed in your own life that might be contributing to this feeling? Maybe it's eating lunch at your desk while scrolling, or always putting on headphones when you leave the house. By sharing, you're not just putting it into words for yourself, you're letting thousands of other people know that they aren't the only ones. You're helping to break the stigma and prove this is a shared struggle. That act of sharing is, itself, an act of connection. Okay, we've unpacked the problem, and it can feel a little overwhelming. But here's the hopeful truth. We have more power here than we think. Breaking the cycle of loneliness isn't about some massive life-altering change. It's about small, intentional, and consistent actions. It starts with a couple of crucial mindset shifts. When we feel lonely, our instinct is to focus inward on our own pain. It's a trap. One of the most powerful ways to break the cycle is to shift your focus from what you can get out of a social interaction to what you can give. Instead of thinking, I need to meet people to fix my loneliness, try reframing it as, who in my life could use a moment of connection today? Think about a friend who's been stressed, a family member you haven't talked to in a bit, or that new colleague who seems a little quiet. Send them a text, not asking for anything, but just to say, hey, I was thinking of you and hope you're having a good day. This does 2 things. First, it takes the pressure off. You're not auditioning for the role of best friend, you're just offering a small kindness. Second, it gives you a sense of purpose, which we know is a powerful antidote to that existential loneliness. You might not be able to fix your own loneliness in one afternoon, but you can absolutely help someone else with theirs. And in doing so, you often end up helping your own. Our culture, especially on social media, screams that your value is tied to the number of friends, followers, or likes you have. It's not true. Real connection isn't about having 100 acquaintances. It's about having a few people you can truly be yourself with. Give yourself permission to stop trying to be everything to everyone. Instead, pick 1 or 2 relationships in your life that have the potential to go deeper. Invest your limited social energy there. Suggest moving beyond texts to a phone call, or from a quick coffee to a shared activity. Nurturing a few deep connections will do more for you than 1,000 shallow ones ever could. The biggest barrier to connection is often just getting started. We feel like we don't have the time or energy. The 5-minute rule is designed to smash through that barrier. Every day, commit to spending just 5 minutes on one proactive social action. This could be that thinking of you text. It could be a quick call to a parent on your commute. It could be making small talk with the cashier instead of staring at your phone. It could even be leaving a thoughtful, genuine comment on a friend's post instead of just a passive like. 5 minutes. That's it. It's a small, achievable goal that rebuilds the habit of reaching out and strengthens your social muscles over time. We have to consciously rebuild those vital third places in our lives. So here's the challenge. Once a week, go to a third place, a library, a park, a coffee shop, and for the first 15 minutes you're there, keep your phone in your pocket. Just sit and observe the world. Notice the people, make eye contact, smile. You don't have to talk to anyone. The goal is just to be present in a public space and feel like part of your community again. To break the habit of retreating into a digital world the second we have a spare moment. It's a small act that can make you feel more grounded in the real world. One of the best ways to build new, meaningful relationships is by doing something you care about alongside other people. When you're focused on a common goal, connection often happens naturally and with way less pressure. Join a club that fits your interests, a book club, a hiking group, a rec sports league. Volunteer for a cause you believe in. Take a class to learn a new skill, whether it's pottery, a language, or coding. In these settings, the focus isn't on making friends, it's on the activity itself. The friendships that pop up are a byproduct of a shared passion, and those are often the strongest bonds of all. If this video gave you a new perspective or just made you feel understood, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content that helps us navigate the complexities of our inner and outer worlds. And please share it with one person who might need to hear this message. You never know whose cycle you might help break. Thanks for watching.